A fascinating presentation so far. I've been sitting here entire day yesterday and this morning. Lots of implications of technology in building the infrastructure, right? In terms of healthcare, energy, agriculture, those kind of things, building the infrastructure. My presentation is going to be more about business, and particularly the goods producing business. I mean, we don't call it manufacturing anymore because they may or may not actually do their own manufacturing, but we call it goods producing. So are there people here from the goods producing industry? Any company? No one that makes anything? Okay, I see one hand up. Okay, but I hope this topic is relevant to all of you. So we're going to talk about the impact of technology on business, particularly incredible disruption that is taking place at the market end, at the consumer end of the supply chain or the value chain. All of you understand value chain. So at the consumer end of the value chain, incredible disruption being caused by digital technology. So let's take a look. I'm showing a picture here, or a few pictures, okay? And tell me, how long did it take for each of those devices to reach 50 million users? By the way, I'm not very fond of lecture, so let's make it interactive, okay? And I don't want you to sleep off, so I'm going to ask you questions, okay? So we'll all be awake, right? You and me. So what's the top picture? What's the picture on the top? Radio. How long, in months or years, how long did it take the radio to get 50 million users? 10 years, anyone else? 30 years, getting closer. Okay, so let's bring it up. 38 years to reach 50 million users. What is the next one? Television. How long to reach 50 worldwide, to reach 50 million users? 20, I heard 20, anyone else? 50 or 15? 50, no, it's much less. Okay, so maybe you'll find a pattern now. Okay, 13 years. Much faster. What's the next one? The internet. How long do you think it took the internet to reach 50 million users? 5 years? Not bad. 4 years. What's below that? Facebook. How long did it take Facebook? Not one day, but 2 or 3 years. Between 2 and 3. So you can see the trend now, right? What's after Facebook? What's that? Instagram. How long did it take Instagram to reach 50? 6 months. What's below that? Angry Bird, which is a video game, so to speak. How long did it take Angry Bird to reach 50 million teenage users? Not bad, 35 days. And what's below that? Pokemon Go. How long did it take for Pokemon Go? Hours. To reach 50 million users. So what do you see here? What's the trend? See how technology is driving adoption and how technology is driving volume. And these companies are coming up with a new business model. Okay, from, compared to the radio and the television, it's a completely different model. So incredible disruption being created in the business world. So let's take a look at that, okay? So what is digital disruption? Right, it's the change in behavior because of digital capabilities and digital technologies, where it impacts a change in behavior and culture and the marketplace, which is significant, right? That changes a lot of things, right? So let's look at a few examples. Right, all of you remember this? All of you remember the Sony Walkman? Remember this? Then from tapes it became CDs, then it was the Sony Discman, right? And then DVD players, right? And then the movie theaters, DVD rentals, because DVD prices were a little more expensive. And, that was not that far ago, not that long ago. Right, so what's happening? How is this being disrupted? Is this industry completely disrupted? How? What companies have disrupted this? How we see movies, how we listen to music. So what is the technology? What is the technology that we currently use in the way we listen to music, or we watch television, or we watch movies? Streaming. Streaming. And in fact, just the other week, one of the things that took off Apple, all of you know about Apple, they started as a computer manufacturer, did they not? Right? Computer manufacturer. I mean, they did not make a huge amount of fame or money making computers in the old days. What turned them around? When did they start becoming this great company, Apple, with a tremendous amount of customers and started generating incredible wealth for themselves, or profitability for themselves? What product did that start with? The iPod. Was it just the device? So iPod was a consumer electronics device, predates the iPhone and the iPad, so the iPod. All of you remember that? What was the reason that took off? Was it because of the physical device, the iPod? iTunes. They created this software platform called iTunes. All of you know this, right? And that changed the way we listen to music. That changed the music industry. That changed both sides, the consumer, that we could download music very cheaply and listen in our device in any way or form, rather than the sequence in which it's played on the TV or radio, right? Number one. Number two, for musicians and all, and that side of the picture, where it was very expensive for a new musician to get a record contract, or with a recording company or a labeling company, and then produce an entire CD of music. Now they could just produce a single and list it on the iTunes platform. So that's how Apple took off. And 3 weeks ago, they announced that they're going to get rid of the iTunes platform. All of you heard that, right? Are they crazy? Why? Because of the disruption. What's happening now? Why did they get rid of or decided to get rid of the iTunes platform, which that took them off, right? That's how they became Apple. And then, of course, technology converged, and it was the iPhone, iPad, and a lot of other things, but it all started with the iPod. So what happened? Because the iTunes were more about downloading and owning. Now that business model is gone. Now it is streaming. So Amazon Music and other Apple Music, Apple is also going in that direction, for which you need the device, the Amazon Fire Stick or the Apple TV and those kind of things. So completely changed. By a number, Netflix for the movie business, by a number of new players using digital technologies, they've completely changed behavior. Right? And that's what we call disruption. Let's look at another example. What is this? Shopping mall. A store, shopping mall, retail. Is that changing? And it's changing at different rates in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, rather. And some parts of the world, it's happening very fast. Some parts, it's not, slower. But what's changing the retail industry? All these online retailers, right? Every day there are new ones coming up, or the virtual retailers. Alibaba and Amazon are the bigger ones. Walmart, who used to be a big player in the brick and mortar, is now entering the online space in a very big way as Walmart.com. So these companies are changing the experience changing our behavior in terms of how we buy things. Right? So another place where, see how many areas that digital technology has completely disrupted our behavior and the way we live and the way we do things, right? Let's take another example. Right, what is this? What is this? Remember there used to be such a thing called the newspaper? Coming on a flight here, the first thing they do before takeoff is come with a trolley with newspaper, collection of newspaper. So, I was looking at that flight attendant. I mean, this is obsolete technology that you guys are now passing around. Okay, I mean, newspaper should be upset. But of course, behavior is difficult to change. So some people still like to sit down at breakfast with the newspaper, but that's what they have done all their life. But now it's forcing that behavior change. So what's changing the newspaper? All the electronic media, right? So whatever, Facebook, BuzzFeed, all the different ways that we can now read news or get a feed on the news, electronically in our digital device, completely changed the way that we read or look at news. Okay, one more. Okay, what is this? Banks, and we were talking about this in the previous presentation. Banks and cash, money. What's happening to that? So what's replacing that? So the whole idea of blockchain and cryptocurrency, as it started as a financial ledger, is to get rid of banks, is to get rid of intermediaries. That is the whole premise behind it. That if I need to exchange money or cash or any financial transaction between me and any other person, we should be able to do it directly without the involvement of any intermediary, which is typically a bank. Right, so they are going completely. I mean, banks have to redefine themselves. Whether or not they stay or get rid of, they have to redefine what they offer, right? So, do you think it's been replaced by credit card technology? Is that what's replacing money, cash and banks, credit cards? Because they did for a while, but that's an intermediate technology. So I was recently in China earlier this year. I went to a store, bought something, took out my credit card, and the cashier started staring at my face. It's like, what is this? And then they sent me somewhere in the basement dungeon, okay, where they had the device which could process the credit card. Right, because credit. So it's been taken over completely by mobile payments. I mean, cryptocurrencies are still a little away. I mean, eventually maybe that will, happen in heavier penetration. But Alipay, Apple Pay, WeChat Pay, and it's particularly taking off in a very big way in China. And see how quickly that behavior has changed. Let me show you a graph. Okay, mobile payments in China. Look at this. From 2015, okay, almost 2016, look at the way they have changed. That's 80%, almost 80% of smartphone users are using mobile payment, transactions using mobile payment. And look at the shape of the curve. Look at the rate at which, just over the last 2 or 3 years, basically, when it comes to change in behavior, we could call this overnight. That overnight, how they have completely disrupted the behavior in terms of how monetary transactions take place. Right, so incredible. Let me show you a picture. Tell me what this picture is about. Tell me what this picture is. Have you seen it? Isn't this mind-boggling? Right, so this is a destitute, or, for lack of a better word, let's call that person a beggar. But when you beg, people don't have cash to give. So the beggar is wearing a QR code. An Alipay QR code and a WeChat QR code. Those are the two big platforms. So anyone who wants to give money to the beggar just scans it using the smart device or smartphone, and you transact how much you want to pay, and you transact that amount to the beggar, goes to the beggar's account. So see what disruption is. So see how much digital technologies are disrupting life. Right, and it's disrupting consumer behavior, right? It's disrupting consumer behavior. So what's the reason for this? Of course, we know it's the penetration of digital devices. So if you see this from 2004 to 2018, all these different digital devices and technology, incredible rate of penetration in human use of these devices. So that's obviously causing the change in trends and behavior. This is, again, what we mean by disruption. Right, so now let's take a look at the value chain. So this is the general disruption that's being caused by digital technologies. Let's take a look at the value chain. I'm showing a value chain at a very high level, 50,000 feet level, and all of you know this, that I'm just showing when you make something, you have to start with raw materials, and then it gets to the suppliers because it's a sequential process, gets to the suppliers, suppliers make something, then it comes to that company who does the final manufacturing, then it goes to the distributors or distribution. Okay, to the markets, to the consumers and the customers. So therefore, what is after this stage? After distribution, that goes to retail. Because typically we don't buy directly from the manufacturer. Typically, we buy from the retail. And manufacturers calls retail their customer. Because that's their main customer is retail. Not we as consumers, but for the manufacturers, the main customers are retail. So that's retail. And what's beyond retail? The consumers, right? The consumers. So where the disruption is taking place is right there. Because digital technologies are changing behavior. Okay, and a lot of things are happening. So let me cover a few of those, of what is happening and the fundamental way that they are changing the value chain for businesses. And thereby, the way that we have run the value chain traditionally, even up to now, even today, is no longer going to work. And that is creating an incredible challenge for businesses because we have to rethink that value chain. This, what I'm showing, is no longer going to work. But this is the way we create products and what we call the value chain. Right. So first disruption is the effect of different generations. Do you agree? I mean, people here that have kids, or particularly teenage children, kids, don't you sometimes look at their behavior and scratch your head? What's up with them? Don't you do that very often? Okay, so these are the generations. See where you belong. Okay? So baby boomers is an American term. Who are baby boomers? Okay, right? So many baby boomers, if you look at the range of birth years. So baby boomers happened when the soldiers returned home after World War II. There was an incredible increase in birth rate. Okay, so the babies that were born at that time are called baby boomers. Okay, because of the baby boom. But of course, a lot of you are part of the Generation X and the Generation Y, which is the millennial. A lot of the younger folks are millennials. And then you have the upcoming generation, which are the teenagers, people in school, that are the Generation Z or Gen Z, as we call them. Do you think the behavior pattern across these different generations are a little different in terms of how you do things? And that's how, and the Generation Z are the future. So if you want to look at the future of business and how things are going to drive, or who is going to drive things, it's going to be that future generation. Okay, so a lot of the things that Gen Z is doing, Generation Z, is going to impact businesses. Okay, so number one, do you agree that, from telephone, okay, so let me bring this up. Okay, from call me, to email me, to text me, to show me digitally. Aren't these technology adoptions changing across the generations? So the new folks, the teenagers, the Gen Z, they all have a smart device, a smart mobile device, and we still call them a smartphone. Are they really meant for talking? Have you seen them talk? Really? Right? I mean, the phone is a misnomer, right? It's not a phone. But they can text with 10 people at the same time. Can you? Text simultaneously with 10 people at the same time. They're having a conversation through texting. So behavior patterns, I mean, we cannot, fathom that well, but they almost are like born with the smart device, right? Or the smartphone or mobile phone. They're almost born with that. Remember when you give us a piece of electronic gadget or any electronic gadget, we first try to read the manual. Hey, let's see how to operate. Have you seen the young folks read any manual? They know it. You give it to them, they'll figure it out. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they'll figure it out. Okay, so incredible. So that's part of their DNA. That's part of their DNA. So if they are going to be the future, that's going to drive a lot of changes, a lot of things different, because they do things differently. So that's going to create a lot of difference. So let's see some of them, okay? So this is the real proof of generation gap. This is a father and son. Okay. I mean, how much proof do you need that generations are changing? Right? This is a father and son, right? So, but the things are almost opposite, right? We often see that how we did or do things, that they do it almost opposite way. So let's look at data, all right? Let's look at data to see. So this is online shopping and buying related activities. Online shopping and buying related activities in the US. Sorry, most of my data pertaining to the US, but this is going to happen everywhere in the world. It's just the rate at which it's happening may be different in different parts of the world. So very recent data, 2018. Look at the legend, look at the color code for the age groups. Right, and now look at the different activities and look at the color of the bars and see everything that is online related to shopping. You see the age groups, right? Very clear? Right, the dark blue and the light blue bars are the ones that are doing it more. All age groups are doing it because this is now entrenched in our society, so every group is doing it. Now here, you always see the light blue bar taller than the dark blue. But the first category is purchased a product on Amazon.com. And that's where the 30s group is taller than the 18 to 29 group. What could be a reason for that? They don't have enough money to do enough shopping on Amazon. So the 30s who are earning a little more money are earning better. But you see the trend. So these are trends. And it's going to continue. And as businesses, we have to recognize that these trends are happening and thereby the disruption and thereby how we need to change. Look at this, the red curve, the red line, is the rate at which e-commerce is increasing in the US. Right, compared to store sales. Isn't this significant? How are stores then going to survive? Either flat or decreasing. Only for apparel, the brown line, if you see clothing and accessories. So for clothing and apparel, we still like to go to stores, try them on, or see and feel the fabric and that kind of thing. Even that's changing. Okay, and that may be slightly increasing, but look in comparison how much e-commerce is taking off. Okay, that's in the US. This is in China. So China, look at the color. Okay, China overtook US in e-commerce, total volume of e-commerce in 2017. It's just completely taking off in China. I mean, it's an incredible behavior change, and it's happened over a period of 2 or 3 years, which you can almost call it overnight, right? And the two big players in China are Alibaba.com and JD.com that are driving a lot of these practices. And so different countries, different areas may have just different rates at which this is happening, but this is the impact of globalization, right? These are as the adoption of smart devices and digital devices, the penetration and adoption starts increasing in different parts of the world. And by the way, Amazon, and I'm sure all of you know this, they have big plans for South Africa. They're not here yet, right? Okay, you have to go through some other site to buy anything from Amazon. But they have big plans to enter South Africa. And when they enter, I'll talk more about them in a few minutes. And when they enter, they completely disrupt the market. And I'll show you how they have done the disruption, right? So let's look at the disruptions that are happening in the marketplace. Okay, in the consumer, in the final consumer part of the value chain, so in the marketplace and consumers, how behaviors and things are changing. Number one, product variety. Okay, what we often call SKU proliferation. That the number of SKUs that companies are now needing to produce are, exploding. That is, product variety is exploding. Why do you think that's happening? What may be the reason for that? Why do we have more product variety now? That everything comes in different packages, different forms, different sizes, different variations, different features, different attributes, similar products, but many different variations of the product. Taken together, the portfolio, the product portfolio, or the SKU portfolio of the companies, of the manufacturing companies, are exploding. What may be the reason for that? Yeah, consumer behavior, because you want choices. We now, particularly the younger generation, we want more choices. So if you go to buy a camera or whatever, or a digital device, look at the variety that we have, even from the same manufacturer, the different models that we have. Because one of the impact of this on consumer behavior is we want choices. And we want to pick something that exactly we want, we like. Okay, and that is forcing companies. And the problem with that, okay, is that, this is the increase, the rate at which the cumulative average growth rate, the rate at which the number of the product variety or SKUs have been increasing. And this is a McKinsey study from 2017, so fairly recent, that as product variety is increasing, as number of SKUs are increasing, 66% over the last 3 years, okay, efficiency and productivity in those companies are dramatically decreasing. Do all of you see that? Okay, that it making the situations more complex. Okay, so when you need to make that many different types of items, things get complex and that drives efficiency and productivity down. Technology is helping with that, but that's one of the impact. So it becomes more expensive to make them, because efficiency lowers and they're thereby more expensive. So these are some of the detrimental impact of some of these disruptions, okay? This is number one. Okay, number two, increasing product personalization. What is this? How is personalization different from customization? Well, you won't be passing at the end of today if you guys don't give the answers. I mean, this is a quiz. All of you know what is customization, right? Customization is when the manufacturer or whoever tailor-made for you, made to your specification, made to the customer's specification, and we have had that for a long time, and you paid extra for that. You have to pay, whenever things are tailor-made, you have to pay a premium, and so that's customization. Now the word is personalization. Meaning what? Anyone? Yeah? But how is it different? So customization was give it to me what I want, what I like. Even this is give it to me what I want, but you don't have to really build it for me. What this means is give it to me the way I would like to have it. On demand, the way I would like to. So it could be packaging. Okay, so can you not, for a company that makes different products, can you not put these together and create a package for me? Because I don't want to buy this one-on-one, one by one. Just put it together, create a special package for me, because that's what. And also living styles are changing, demographics are changing. One of the impact of the younger generation is, and I think it's similar here in South Africa, but particularly true in the US, that my generation, we often typically live in the suburbs of cities. The reason being that you find larger homes there. You can get more for your money in terms of the size of the home. And when you have larger homes, you have more than one refrigerator. So one in the kitchen, one maybe in the garage. So if you go and buy in bulk to, go to Walmart and buy in big volumes, or go to one of the price clubs, Costco, one of the popular ones, go and buy in bigger volume, you get lower price. And then you bring it home and you have space to keep them. Because you have two refrigerators, things that need to be in a refrigerator, you put it inside. But the younger generation are now more urban dwellers. This is a distinct change in demographics. That they are urban dwellers, meaning they have apartments or smaller townhomes kind of things inside city limits. And so there is not a whole lot of space. They have a small refrigerator. So they do not have the luxury to buy in big volume cheap and then be able to stock it in their homes. So they want it when they need it. So one of the demand, for example, these are just examples that, all of you know Coca-Cola, right? And so when you go and buy a Coca-Cola product, whether it's in a 6-pack or a 12-pack, right? That's what you get here. 6 bottles or 6 cans or 12 bottles and 12 cans. Don't you have to buy the same product in that 6-pack? Do you have any customization available here? And you say, okay, in a 6-pack, I want 2 regular Cokes, 2 Coke Zeros, and 2 Diet Cokes, or 2 Sprite. Can you do that? But the younger generation is saying, that's exactly what they want you to do. Right? They're saying, hey, when we are happy, I'm making this up. When we are happy, we like to drink regular Coke. When we are sad, we like to drink Coke Zero. I mean, I'm making this up, but the point is, okay, but the point is that, you have, call them the crazy generation, whatever. Point is they have this kind of mood and they kind of have this kind of needs and desires or wants. They're asking and they're telling Amazon, hey, can't you do that? And Amazon is then providing pressure on the manufacturers to Coke. Hey, why can't you do this? Why does a person have to buy all 6 units or 12 units of the same product in that packaging? Why can't you create personalized packaging? It's not creating the product from scratch. It's not customization from scratch. Why can't you do the packaging where you can put a combination of these and have it delivered to the consumer? So that is called personalization. Some examples, and you don't have this here, I think. It's called the Coca-Cola Freestyle Machine. It's an innovation they came up with a few years ago, but they're having, because of many challenges, they have not been able to roll it out globally. They're still trying to roll this out globally, but it's very common in the US, where you can customize your drink. You can mix anything with anything. Anything. You can make it like 3/4 glass grape something juice or grape Coke with regular Coke, put a lot of lemon juice on it, whatever. So you can customize over 100 plus drinks. Okay, over 100 plus drinks. Or for special occasion, for a slightly additional price, say for a birthday party of a child, you can have the name of that person put on the bottle or can. Okay, so it's a novelty thing. So for a birthday, so parents celebrating the birthday of their child and, hey, have the name of the child, for that occasion and paying a little extra, you don't mind that for that occasion. So a lot of that, okay? All of you eat pasta here, pasta. Okay, now pasta comes in the long shape, but pasta also comes in many different shapes, right? So you see pasta looking like a bow tie, right? You see that here? Yeah? Do you see pasta that look like tubes? You see pasta that look like shells? So who is one of the biggest pasta manufacturer? Italian company, but global. Who is one of the biggest pasta manufacturer? A company by the name of, starts with the letter B, Barilla. Barilla, yeah. So Barilla is a big, and they're global. Do you have the Barilla pasta here? Okay, so they're saying, look, if we can make pasta in the shape of a shells, seashells, or bow ties and those kind of things, why can't we make any shape? So they're starting a pilot program. That, hey, you want to have pasta that looks like your face? Why not? Why not, right? So bring us a picture of your face, make it nice looking, okay, bring us a picture, and we'll digitize the picture, we'll scan and digitize the picture, and then we'll use a 3D printer to print the pasta of that exact shape. This is what they're trying to do. I'm not making these up, right? So you bring the picture, they'll digitize whatever shape you want. This is a 3D printer. No, these have not been scaled up. Okay, a lot of this, these are happening as we speak. So these are a lot of pilots that are going on, and with the intent that if it works out, they'll be scaled up. And so using this, they can just create that pasta on a 3D printer or a 3D manufacturing. So a lot of these, and that's where a lot of these digital innovations are taking place, right? Very interesting. Let me tell you the story of Nestle. You call them Nestle here, right? Okay, we call them Nestle. We have to be different. So we call them Nestle. So they in Japan, apparently it's an aging population because their birth rate is negative. Okay, so people are getting older, and then when you get older, you have nutritional needs, and which may not be provided by your regular diet, is not providing the regular nutritional needs that your body needs. So it's affecting people and health, or with the aging population in Japan. So Nestle started a program. Again, these are pilot program. It's a program where people, their daily diet, they can take a picture of their food and send it to them. If you join the program, send it to them via one of the social media platform, WeChat, or the Line app, one of the social media platform. You send it to them, and before you join, by the way, when you join the program, they'll send you a DNA kit. Okay, provide some blood samples, so they'll have your DNA, right, with that blood sample, and then you send them a picture of the food, that your diet that you regularly have, and they're going to make a nutritional supplement tailored, customized to what your body needs based on your diet and your DNA, which may make you live 500 years. No, I'm kidding. Okay, no one lives that long. But you see the thing? Okay, so I'm describing it here. Let me bypass this. Instead of reading, let me show you the pictures. So it's called the Nestle Wellness Program. So using your smartphone, take a picture of once a week, take a picture of your typical diet. Okay, and then upload it in the Line app. And Nestle will then send you nutritional supplements that are tailor-made for you, based on your diet, based on your DNA, and based on what your body needs, the nutritional supplements that your body needs. Isn't that personalization? Right? So that's what the nutritional supplement, all nutritional supplements look ugly, but it's good for you, right? But it's good for you. So that's what it means. So I'm just giving you examples of programs that are coming out. I mean, these are all starting, but this is the trend for personalization, which creates, again, another challenge and complexity. I have till 11:15, am I correct? Is it 11:15? Okay, I have to speed up. That's a problem. When you tell stories, it takes time, and then you run behind. Okay, what is friction? Another disruption, frictionless commerce. And I think we were talking about that a little bit in the previous presentation. That's the ease with which a consumer can do business with a company. A consumer. C to B, a consumer can do it. Effortless way of paying, effortless way of having the product delivered to you, effortless way of doing a lot of things. That's called frictionless commerce, or often in a bigger sense, it's called frictionless business. Right, so all these mobile payment systems that's coming up all over the place, effortless. Paying a beggar, effortless. Right, so that's frictionless commerce. What is this? And I think someone else in a presentation yesterday, they showed this. What is this? That when you board biometrics, that when you board a flight, you don't need to carry either the QR code on your phone or a piece of paper or the boarding pass. Your face is scanned. If you look good, you go in. Okay, no, I'm kidding. But, so your facial recognition. Right, and that is the biometric approach, or your fingerprint. Okay, and voice-based ordering is going to become a big thing. Isn't that effortless? You want something, just call it out. Order it through the Amazon Echo or Google Home. These are the voice-based devices that you can use for shopping. Isn't that effortless? But you see the speed at which these kind of disruptions at the front end, okay, at the consumer end is happening. Right, I don't know how many of you know this, but I think one of the speakers yesterday alluded to this. This is a store built by Amazon, they're rolling this out, called Amazon Go. Have you heard of this? And what does it, what's the convenience? What is frictionless? You walk in, pick what you want, walk out. Okay, using vision technology, graphics technology, and deep learning, artificial intelligence, you have to carry the Amazon store card or scan it when you enter on your iPhone or on your smart device, pick up what you want to automatically add it to your cart, walk out. So they've been testing this in Seattle, their home city, for about 10 months. And they feel they've perfected the technology, incredible amount of technology. They feel that they've perfected the technology. Now they're rolling out. They're building 2 in New York City, I think 3 or 4 in London. And it's meant for big metropolitan areas, metropolitan cities. So they have started rolling this out, right? And then this one is a Tao Cafe in China, which is by Alibaba. And what this cafe is that you go in, pick up any food, but there is no human beings around to serve you or to do anything with you. Okay, you pick up what you want. So when you enter, your face is scanned, biometrics, your face is scanned. So a lot of privacy issue implications and all that, but this is what digital technology is doing. When your face is scanned, and then it recognizes whatever you're picking up, it is recognized, and then you walk out, you sit down and eat there if you want, or you walk out with them, take home, it's automatically charged to your mobile payment. Isn't that effortless? So that's what we call frictionless. And these kind of, although right now again in small scale, but these things are taking off in a big way. So see how much life is changing and the front-end consumer behavior is changing, right? So voice shopping, let me just show you, okay, that they're predicting in the US at least 40 billion voice shopper. Look at this number. Okay, voice shopping, look at the generations, the age groups that are doing more voice shopping. Not surprising, right? Should we call them a lazy generation? They don't seem to want to go anywhere or do anything. Let's just sit at home and order and things. So their philosophy is they don't need to go anywhere. Other things have to come to them. And that is the behavior expectation that is driving a lot of these, different disruptions that are going on. Other thing, that's what essentially what it is. Direct to consumer. So now even the trend is, it takes too much trouble to go to a restaurant to eat. Why not have the food delivered at home? You relax, watch a movie, and have your dinner. But you're too lazy to cook anything. You want to enjoy having it at home. Casual clothes, watch TV, but you don't want to make anything. Okay, so you have to order in, right? So ordering in, you don't want to order fast food because apparently that generation is very health conscious, and so they don't want to eat anything or any junk food from the good restaurants. Okay, instead of going there, have it delivered. So restaurant delivery, online ordering and delivery is taking off in a big way, right? And again, look at the age groups that are doing this. And this is called direct to consumer. The things that are coming to the consumer. The consumer doesn't have to go. And this is where Amazon is creating incredible disruption. So I don't know how many of you know of these programs. So Prime Delivery, have you heard of that? And again, they're coming here, so these things may happen here fairly soon. Prime delivery is what? Within 2 days, typically. It could be same day for groceries. If you order in the morning, you can get it shipped in the evening. Or if you order in the evening, it could be early morning or early in the day, next day. So depending on the items, some items could be within 24 hours and most items within 2 days. Well, they're investing. It's just a news that came out. Every day there's new news about Amazon. It's a news that came out in April that they are now investing $800 million to create the capability where 97% of the US, the country, geography, 97% will get delivery within 24 hours. Anything you buy from Amazon will get delivery within 24 hours. They're just pushing the frontier on speed. So what these digital disruptions are creating is also speed. I want something, I want it right now. And I don't want to go anywhere to do it. Okay, bring it to me right now. So a lot of this. Okay, Amazon Go is what we just talked about, instant pickup. And Amazon Key, because, packages that are delivered in front of the door are getting stolen and all that, and then Amazon has to replace them. So it's costing money to Amazon. So now they can deliver inside your door, inside your home. Or better yet, you're working. Let's deliver inside the, what we call trunk of the car. You call it dicky. Boot, the boot, the back part. Okay, we call it the trunk. Okay, so they can even deliver it in the trunk. So using these locks, the software openable locks that can be opened with software. So I don't have the picture. So a lot of that is happening. So a lot of disruption is happening due to which consumer demand trends are becoming very, very volatile. Because now it's individual orders, right? Instead of, for a manufacturer, instead of in the past, where a retailer is ordering in truckloads, now individual consumers are ordering whenever they want it. And that's creating incredible volatility in demand. So forecasting and predicting demand is becoming a nightmare. So the challenges it's causing on managing the value chain because of disruptions by consumer behavior triggered by digital technologies. So this is the connectivity among things that are happening, right? So that's increasing. So also augmented reality, virtual reality, you can now buy a furniture, look at the furniture, look at how it looks like in your home on your iPad and place an order. Or the women here, if you want to, the men have been involved. Let me put the women on the spot here, okay? So a question to the ladies and the women. If you want to try a cosmetic items that comes in different colors, and you want to try out the different colors and see which color looks good on you, can you do that sitting at home unless you buy one unit of every color? You have to go to the store, right? And you try the different colors of whatever that cosmetic items, and you see the one that looks good on you, and then you buy that one. So that technology, that whole process, that whole behavior is now going to be available via augmented reality. You're staring at your iPad with this picture where you can see your reflection. And this is an eyeshadow. You just click on the eyeshadow, that color is going to appear on your eyelids. And you can admire yourself and see how you're looking. And then choose the color that you think looks good on you and just place an order right there online. See how that is changing behavior, or buying furniture, or trying clothes. This is a technology that, that is a fitting technology, where in front of your TV, you can visualize how that garment or that apparel is going to look on you, on different colors, and how it fits you. And when these take off, we can't be shy anymore because our measurements will be kept in storage in digital form. And algorithmically assessing digital fit, between your body measurements and the clothes, it's much more accurate than trying it on. And that's the way that it's going to happen. So anyway, all these kind of things that are happening, and digital acceleration by Amazon, which were the programs that I was just showing, right? And they are triggering that. So what is happening is, so if I go back to the supply chain, this is where the digital disruption is happening. And fundamentally what is happening, and I'll wind it up, fundamentally what is happening is this arrow. What do you think is happening to that arrow? Where is the power moving? Is the power moving more to the retailer? Where is the power going? To the consumer. The digital technologies are shifting the power from retailers who are shrinking and maybe out, in the future, to the consumers. And companies like Alibaba and Amazon are driving this behavior. As a result, this arrow is changing direction. I call it the front end flip. They are driving the value chain. It's totally changing, for people like me who are in this area, totally changing the dynamics of the value chain and the challenge. And the challenge is this, that it's now direct. It's called route to customer. So different ways of getting it directly, like Amazon. Different. Where do you want it? At home, inside your garage, inside your car? Where do you want it? Tell us. Just let us know, we'll do it. That's called route to consumer, route to the final consumer. So what's happening is the value chain is still a physical entity. It needs time to make something, to move something. But the front end is becoming a digital system and moving at a digital speed. It's no longer a 9-to-9 marketplace, right? It's a 24/7 by 365 marketplace. Customers can order anything at any time, anywhere. So that is moving at digital speed. The value chain, or the supply chain as we often call it, is moving at physical speed. And this is where I came up with this terminology, which I thought I'll copyright, then I thought maybe others have come up with the same terminology, which is a phygital supply chain. A physical and a digital. So tell me, how do you drive such a system? Anyone in this industry? How do you match up physical speed with digital speed? That is the challenge. And it's changing the way we make things, because particularly for consumer-oriented products, which is where consumers have the more influence. and the power that is shifting to them, and how do you make this happen? So we need to digitize the physical system. So that's the challenge and the research and other things that are going on, is that the physical system has to be converted to a digital system using sensors and those kind of things. So I said this was the last slide. Apparently I lied. So I'll show you one more slide, okay? And I will definitely stop here. This is the change in the paradigm. That a linear supply chain, value chain is just not going to work. And it has to look the other way, that everything is networked as a platform under a digital core. And it's easier said than done, because companies now have to figure out how to work in that manner, where it's always on, connected, intelligent optimization, end-to-end transparency, and holistic decision-making. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to keep up with the trends that are going on at the consumer end and the marketplace end. Because that is driving its own thing. And if we cannot keep up in terms of satisfying that trend, we'll just not be able to execute. Right, so this is the challenge, and different ways of solving this. That's where Industry 4.0 and other things come in. But this is the challenge on the value chain because of the digital disruption. And a lot of it is based on internet-based digital technologies.